You've probably used ChatGPT, right? But what if I told you most of us are barely scratching the surface, like using a race car just to pop down to the shops? We're leaving like 99% of its actual power just sitting there, beat. Today, we're going to dive deep into how businesses are actually building, automated workforces using AI.
That's exactly it. I mean, imagine turning an 80-hour work week into something way more efficient, more profitable too, all just by connecting ChatGPT's, let's call it the brain, to a powerful automation engine like n8n. Think of n8n as the hands and feet for that AI brain and lets it actually do things in the real world, connect to other apps. And that's really the core of our deep dive today. We're going way beyond just the chat window. We're talking about commanding an autonomous workforce. We'll unpack, I think it's 10 actionable blueprints. Yeah, 10. Everything from creating AI art directors, scoring leads, even giving your AI voice. It's really all about building a system that works for you, not the other way around.
Okay, so kicking us off, let's talk visuals, visual content. If you're running an e-commerce store or managing social media, you know, generating professional product shots, that's a huge cost. It can be a massive bottleneck. But with AI now, you can generate these really stunning product photos with, well, pretty simple text prompts. Like imagine asking for a Lush soap product shot with perfect, professional lighting. Or maybe a body wash beauty shot that looks totally magazine quality, water droplets and all. It feels kind of like basic magic.
It really does feel like magic sometimes. But the real magic, like the next level stuff, that happens when you build what the guide we looked at calls the AI art director.
Yeah.
This is where it gets cool because you're chaining AI abilities together. So the output from one AI step feeds into the next one. The workflow basically starts by sending separate prompts to ChatGPT. Say, generate 2 individual product images. Then it automatically takes those image files, right, and feeds them into a second ChatGPT node. And this time you give it a compositing prompt, something like create a luxury spa scene featuring these 2 products placed elegantly on a marble countertop. Maybe add some premium typography.
Okay, chaining AI like that for custom composites. That's genuinely exciting. So what's the biggest shift you think this brings to how marketing teams actually work? I mean, beyond just saving money on photo shoots, what new sort of strategic things does it unlock?
That's a great question. I think the core of it is it fundamentally changes the pace of creative iteration.
Right.
You're no longer waiting weeks for a professional photo shoot. You can prototype ad campaigns, generate tons of visual options like daily, get immediate feedback. It just collapses that whole feedback loop. So you can do rapid A/B testing of visuals like never before. That's a massive competitive edge. And then there's the ultimate upgrade they mentioned, the brand consistency engine. This is clever. You basically feed it a text file with your brand-specific details, color codes like hex codes, hashtag 003366 or whatever, font names, mood descriptions. You put that in your prompt, and it makes sure every single AI-generated image is perfectly on brand. Every time.
And it's not just making the images, is it? It's also about giving the AI a kind of creative eye to understand them. Like, imagine an AI social media manager. It analyzes an image, the colors, the mood, the composition, and then it generates these perfectly crafted captions, complete with relevant emojis, good hashtags. So for that skincare duo example, it might spit out, treat yourself to the spa day you deserve. This soothing body care set is your new go-to. Hashtag self-care essentials, hashtag bath time bliss, that kind of thing.
Exactly. And this even extends to something they call automated competitor ad analysis.
Oh,
You can actually build a workflow that, say, scrapes competitor ad images from places like the Facebook ad library. Then it feeds those images to ChatGPT for analysis. So you get these recurring, like, automated competitor intel reports on visual trends, spotting patterns you'd probably miss otherwise.
okay, so beyond social media, how does this image analysis capability start to impact like core business functions? Are there unexpected places that could pop up?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Think about automated product descriptions based on the image, or generating really precise SEO alt text automatically for better search discoverability. You can even use it for a new layer of automated quality control for visual assets before they go live.
Okay, let's switch gears a bit to something really essential. Pulling information out of text. We all drown in unstructured data, don't we? Emails from potential clients, PDFs from partners, messy CSV files, maybe transcribed voicemails. It's just soul-crushingly boring work, frankly. Imagine having to manually process, say, 30 new leads. They're scattered across different emails, maybe some web form submissions. Key details are buried in paragraphs. That's what the guide calls the soul-crushing problem. And it's basically a process designed to create data entry errors, right?
Absolutely. And the guide offers some pretty powerful solutions here. So For really basic stuff, n8n actually has a built-in node called Information Extractor. Simple solution, good for quick tasks. But, it does have limits when you get into complex, messy, real-world data. So when you need to handle that variable stuff, the heavy-duty solution is using the main OpenAI node in n8n. And the key is this powerful three-message system they describe. You have a system message that gives the AI its permanent rules, like you're a smart bot that extracts lead details from emails. To the user message, that's where you dump the actual messy data, the email text, the transcript, whatever. And then the assistant message. This is the secret weapon, really. You give the AI the exact empty JSON format you want it to fill out, like a template.
I still wrestle with prompt drift myself sometimes, especially when I'm trying to get AI to output things in a really precise format like JSON. This three-message system, it sounds like you're properly engineering the output. How much of a game changer is that for consistency?
It truly is. It makes a huge difference. And a little pro tip from the guide, which I love. You can actually ask another instance of ChatGPT to help you build that perfect JSON template. JSON is just a structured way to get data back, kind of like a pre-formatted spreadsheet row. Very useful. And taking this even further is the advanced application they mentioned, the Universal Inbox Processor. So imagine every piece of unstructured info, new lead emails, form submissions, those transcribed voicemails, it all gets routed into one single workflow. First, a classifier AI figures out what it is. Is it a lead, a support ticket, an invoice? Then it sends it to a custom-built information extraction prompt specifically designed for that data type. You end up with pristine, structured data every time.
Wow. It's kind of like Tank from The Matrix, isn't it? Looking at all that raw, cascading green code and just instantly seeing blonde, brunette, redhead just pulling out the important bits.
Just pulling out the important bits. Exactly. And the real-world impact, it's profound. You're looking at, massive ROI potential. You practically eliminate manual data entry errors. And you accelerate lead processing so dramatically. I mean, your sales team ends up spending way more time actually closing deals, less time just sifting through stuff. Which actually segues really nicely into the next blueprint, the digital Zen master, bringing order to chaos with AI classification. This system is basically an n8n workflow that triggers every time you get a new email. It sends the email content off to ChatGPT to classify it into categories you defined beforehand: sales, support, admin, marketing, calendar, whatever makes sense for you. And then, based on that classification, it automatically applies labels in your inbox or even moves the email to a specific folder. Tidy inbox. And the next level beyond just sorting is the action-oriented inbox. This is where it gets really powerful. The system doesn't just label your emails anymore. It actually starts the work for you. So an invoice email comes in. Maybe it triggers a draft payment in your accounting software. High-urgency support ticket. It automatically creates a help desk ticket and sends a Slack alert to the support team. A new sales lead email. Bam. It automatically triggers that lead scoring workflow we're going to talk about next.
Okay, what's the biggest, personal, tangible benefit of having an action-oriented inbox, especially, say, on a Friday afternoon when your brain's already kind of checked out for the weekend?
Honestly,
Yeah.
it just transforms your inbox. It goes from being this passive list of messages demanding your attention into an active, intelligent system that's already working for you. Your mental load just drops significantly. It's a huge relief.
Right. That definitely brings us neatly to automatically scoring leads, because in any business, not all leads are created equal. And wasting hours chasing prospects who are never going to buy anyway, that's just the fastest way to burn out a sales team, isn't it?
Oh, totally. This automation is designed to be like the sorting hat from Harry Potter, but for your business leads. It's an AI-powered system, right? It instantly analyzes new leads against your ideal customer profile, the criteria you set. And then it places them into the right house: hot lead, nurture, or maybe just not a fit. So the first step is building your scoring rubric. That just means defining what makes an ideal customer for you. Points for company size, maybe budget range, industry fit, whether they mention an urgent need. Then you craft the expert analyst prompt. This basically gives the AI a persona, like a seasoned sales analyst, so it scores consistently. And from that score, n8n uses what they call an automated routing system. It triggers different actions automatically based on the score. So a hot lead might get a high priority task created in your CRM immediately. A nurture lead might get added to a specific email sequence. Not a fit might even get a polite automated decline email. And for the pro level upgrade, dynamic, real-time scoring. This is pretty neat. Your n8n workflow could take a lead's email or company name, right? And use a data enrichment tool, something like Clearbit, to pull in real-time info. Things like their latest funding status, current employee count, tech stack maybe, and then it adds that fresh data to the information the AI uses for scoring. Makes the qualification much, much more accurate.
That sounds incredibly efficient. Yeah, like a sorting hat for leads, definitely. But are there any risks? Like, are you worried about over automating this? Maybe losing that subtle human intuition that sometimes spots an unconventional lead who turns out to be really valuable?
That's a really valid concern, actually. And finding the right balance is definitely key. But the strategic shift here isn't really about replacing intuition. It's more about amplifying it. By automating all the grunt work, sifting through maybe hundreds of clearly unqualified leads, your human sales team can focus their expertise, their intuition, entirely on those high-value prospects. It boosts morale because they're not wasting time, and it should significantly increase conversion rates too.
Okay, that makes sense. Amplifying, not replacing. So let's unpack this. Once you have these qualified leads or existing customers, how do you make sure your AI actually knows your business inside and out so it can answer their questions accurately, not just give generic ChatGPT answers? That's where these RAG systems come in, right?
Exactly. Building a RAG system that stands for Retrieval Augmented Generation. It's like giving your AI a Jedi holocron filled with your company's knowledge. Basically, it's an AI assistant that has already read, understood, and essentially memorized every important document your business has. And this is crucial because, unlike a general AI that might, hallucinate or just guess answers based on its broad training data, a RAGgy system actually retrieves specific, accurate information directly from your documents before it generates the response. That's the key difference. It ensures you get 100% factual, on-brand answers based on your materials. And the three-step blueprint they outline is pretty straightforward, actually. First, you create your assistant inside the OpenAI platform itself. Second, you upload your knowledge base. That's your FAQs, product manuals, company policies, internal training materials, whatever's relevant. Third, you connect that assistant to your n8n workflow using the message and assistant node. They give a good real-world example. Imagine a customer support assistant for, say, a wedding photography business. Its knowledge base includes a detailed pricing PDF. So when a customer asks, hey, what's your pricing for a full-day package? Chef, the RE-powered response is pulled directly from that specific PDF, ensuring the answer is accurate every single time. No guessing. And for the advanced application, you can get really sophisticated and build a multi-brain RE system. So you might create multiple specialized assistants. Maybe a sales brain, trained only on sales scripts and competitor info. A support brain focused on technical docs. An HR brain that knows the employee handbook cold. Then, you use another class IR AI up front to figure out the user's query type and route it to the correct brain for the most relevant answer.
Okay, so drilling down on that, what's the core problem our GAG system ultimately solves for businesses, especially in customer support, that just using a generic AI model can't really fix?
Yeah, fundamentally, it prevents AI hallucination, which is a huge deal for businesses. It allows the AI to provide consistently accurate, company-specific answers by grounding every response directly in your own validated internal knowledge bases. Trustworthy answers. Mid-roll sponsor, read placeholder for provided script.
Okay, we're back. So we've talked internal knowledge with Argy. Now let's look outward at external research. That manual grind, right? Opening dozens of browser tabs, reading through walls of text, manually copying and pasting key points for sales prep or competitor analysis. It's just such an incredible time sink.
Oh, absolutely. This next automation basically transforms your AI into a tireless, automated research assistant. Now, the guide mentions the old school way. A two-step method using n8n's HTTP request node to grab raw website HTML, then sending that to ChatGPT for analysis. But honestly, that often struggled with modern websites, the ones heavy on JavaScript that build the page dynamically. The much more elegant approach now is the one-step solution, what the guide kind of playfully calls the perplexity cheat code. You use n8n's built-in Perplexity integration. Perplexity's AI models, like their Sonar series, are specifically designed to browse the web and analyze content effectively. So your prompt becomes really simple. Something like, act as a world-class business analyst, visit the following website URL, and provide a concise summary of their main value proposition and target audience. Perplexity handles all the browsing and extraction heavy lifting behind the scenes, super clean. And the ultimate enhancement they suggest here is pretty cool, the competitor watchtower. You can build an n8n workflow that runs on a schedule, say, daily. It scrapes the home pages of your main competitors. It compares the text it finds today to the version it saved yesterday. And if it detects significant changes, it sends both the old text and the new text to ChatGPT with a prompt like, analyze the before and after versions of this competitor's homepage copy, summarize the strategic importance of the changes. And then boom, it sends you a Slack or Discord alert with that analysis. Critical strategic insights delivered automatically.
Whoa, hang on. Imagine scaling that, processing hundreds of competitor websites every day, getting instant strategic analysis pushed to you. That's kind of like having a Palantir from Lord of the Rings, isn't it? That seeing stone that's always vigilant, always watching your rivals. So, what's the biggest shift this brings to how companies do competitive intelligence?
It completely changes the game from being reactive to proactive.
Right.
You gain this continuous, automated surveillance of your competitive landscape.
Hmm.
You spot competitor strategic shifts, maybe new product launches, major messaging changes, pricing adjustments almost immediately, not weeks later. That gives you a crucial timing advantage.
Okay, so we've seen AI working inside these n8n workflows, handling images, text, voice stuff, research. But what if the interface we're all familiar with now, that conversational chat GPT window itself? What if that could actually command your entire n8n automation system?
Now you're talking about what the guide calls the nuke button, connecting the ChatGPT interface directly to n8n. And they're not wrong to call it maybe the holy grail of integration right now, because it combines ChatGPT's brilliant conversational brain with n8n's complete set of hands and feet, its ability to connect to and control thousands of other applications. The setup, they call it the JARVIS blueprint, involves creating a custom GPT pursuit. You need ChatGPT Plus for this, and you configure that custom GPT to talk to your n8n instance via something called a webhook. You can think of a webhook as like a secret direct phone number that lets ChatGPT call n8n and tell it to start a specific workflow. The power this unlocks is, well, it's almost unlimited. Suddenly, you can do full calendar management, deep operations within your CRM, complex database queries, social media publishing. Basically, anything n8n can do with its 1,000-plus integrations, you could potentially trigger from a natural language chat with your custom GPT. To give a great real-world example for this, imagine typing a single conversational command into your custom GPT.
Okay, John Smith from Acme Inc. just agreed to a demo. Can you schedule a 30-minute call for next Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern? Also create a new deal for him in our HubSpot CRM. Set the value at $5,000. In the draft a personalized confirmation email, make sure to include a calendar invite. PM. That single sentence isn't just a simple query anymore. It triggers this whole symphony of automation behind the scenes. n8n checks your calendar availability, creates the event, updates HubSpot, drafts the email using maybe info from the CRM, generates the invite, sends it all off, all handled automatically from one simple instruction.
Okay, that's pretty mind-blowing. What's the fundamental shift then that this kind of direct AI control enables for, say, a business owner or a manager? How does it change their daily interaction with all their operational tools?
It allows natural language commands, just talking or typing like you normally would, to orchestrate these incredibly complex multi-tool business operations. You basically move from clicking through endless menus and dashboards in 10 different apps to simply telling your AI assistant what you need done. It's like having a super competent executive assistant who's also plugged into every system you use.
Okay, so we've laid out 10 really powerful automation blueprints here. Incredible potential. But here's where it gets really interesting, maybe a bit daunting. How do you even begin? How do you start implementing this stuff without trying to, boil the entire ocean at once? For someone just starting out, where's the smart place to dive in first?
Yeah, that's crucial. The key is definitely to be strategic. Focus on what the guide calls the 80-20 approach, your high-impact starter pack. They strongly recommend starting with the 4 blueprints that tend to provide the biggest, most immediate ROI. Those are information extraction, that was #3, lead scoring, #4, text classification for email, #8, and setting up your first ROC system for internal knowledge, #5. Those 4 often tackle the biggest time sinks and error sources right away. As for realistic implementation timeline, you could maybe aim for weeks 1 to 2 to nail down information extraction, weeks 3-4 for lead scoring, week 5-6 getting email classification running smoothly, and week 7-8 building out your first basic ROG system. Then, months 2-6, you can start layering in the more advanced stuff like the AI Art Director or the competitor Watchtower. It's definitely a build, not a sprint.
Right. Build, don't sprint. And once you are building, how do you know if it's actually working? I mean, beyond just feeling less busy, how do you measure what truly matters?
Good point. You need to measure both the quantitative metrics and the qualitative metrics. So, quantitatively, you track things like hours saved per week, that's a big one, reductions in specific error rates, say in data entry, improvements in customer response times, and of course, increases in lead conversion rates if you've automated scoring. But don't forget the qualitative side. Things like noticeable drops in your team's stress levels, getting positive customer feedback, specifically mentioning faster or more accurate responses. Those matter too.
Okay, so given all these possibilities, this accelerating future, What's the single most important mindset shift you think people need to make to really prepare for what's coming with automation?
I think it really boils down to moving from being primarily a doer of tasks to becoming primarily a designer of systems. Your core role shifts from manually executing processes to thoughtfully designing, building, and overseeing these automated systems that execute the processes for you. It's about orchestrating, not just doing.
So, wrapping this all up, what does it all really mean? The big idea here seems to be this. We're moving beyond just interacting with AI as like a static tool in a window. We're moving towards building these integrated AI-powered systems that operate autonomously, really transforming entire workflows from the ground up.
That's exactly. It's about fundamentally changing how you work, shifting from being that doer of individual tasks to being the designer of intelligent systems. It's about building serious leverage for yourself and your business, multiplying your output capacity, and maybe most importantly, reclaiming your most valuable, non-renewable asset, your time.
You know, the guide we've walked through today, it really feels like it presents that classic red pill, blue pill moment for every entrepreneur, every business owner out there.
Yeah, it really does. You can choose the blue pill, right? Keep doing everything manually. Keep trading your limited time for linear output. Constantly feel like you're struggling to keep up with the demands.
Or you can take the red pill. Start implementing these kinds of automations, reclaim that time, multiply your output potential, and actually build a business that truly works for you instead of you constantly working for it.
And think about this. While your competitors are maybe offline for the weekend, recharging, your AI agents, they don't take weekends. They can be there 204/7, generating leads, qualifying prospects, answering customer questions, supporting your business around the clock.
The tools are here, they're available, many are low cost or even free to start. The blueprints, like the ones we discussed, have been laid out. So the only question left really isn't what is possible anymore. We know incredible things are possible. The real question now is, what will you build? Out to your music.